Judgment versus discernment, and facts versus the truth. What's the difference? And why is it even important? Well, it's important if you have like a big decision to make. Like a big life decision. You want to know the difference between judgment and discernment and the difference between facts and truth. And when life is crazy, and when isn't it, right? So whether you're actually living the midst of the craziness or you're observing the craziness of others around you or the world around you, right? We're caught up in all of that craziness. And so if we don't consciously take the time to check in, the lines are really blurred because it's like, well, judgment and discernment, aren't they very similar? Nope. And what about facts and truth? Aren't facts truth? No, no. Like judgment really feeds the problem. Discernment will feed the solution. So let me try to break it down in my opinion of what this looks like. It really comes down to thinking versus feeling. And in judgment, when we're in judgment, when we're trying to make a decision, you got a life decision to make, and you're all caught up in the craziness, and you make a decision, okay? When you make a decision from that space, caught up in the head, we're thinking, we're in judgment. Judgment is the ego's defense. And we all have an ego. We all need an ego. And, the ego just wants to protect us. Thank you, ego. But in its defense, it goes into judgment. Right, wrong, good, bad, even like superiority and inferiority. Okay. And so when we make a decision from that place, and that ego is trying to grab all of the facts that it can, right? It's looking for all of the facts to support its truth. And it'll find it, right? Whatever your truth is, if you want to find facts to back your truth, you will find it. And so the ego has this need to be right, to prove its point, to defend itself. And in that, again, it's all like that left brain analytical, right? It needs to fix, it needs to, come to some kind of conclusion. It's like, let's get this done. So this is the ego's defense to try to solve problems, right? And then it's so stuck in the head. There's that stubbornness, that, again, need to control, need to defend. So that's to me, that's judgment. When we're in the midst of craziness and we're trying to make a decision, right? That's where judgment and facts and all of that, the lines are blurred. So what's the other side of that? Well, there's discernment. And discernment is different than judgment. Discernment is this deep inner knowing. It's deeper within you, and it's deeper within all of us. We all have this deeper inner knowing. And it's like, sometimes you just know that you know something, but you don't know how you know it. That's that deep inner knowing. And we all have it. And then the ego needs to defend that. And there's no defending it. It's hard to even explain it unless you feel it or you experience it. And so this is why the practice of checking inward, coming out of your head and coming into your heart, when you've got to make a big decision, don't make it from that ego space. That's attributing to problems. That's where more suffering comes in, and then there's karma attached to that, and then there's regret and all of the other things, and maybe not, right? And maybe you're going, no, my ego got what it needed, and I'm right, and that feels really good. But we're still stuck in our head. And often when we do come into the heart, when we do slow down, when we do check in, we might come up with the same conclusion. Yeah, this is what I need to do. And that's great, because you've checked in. You've checked in with that deeper knowing. And this is where the real truth is. You can have all of the facts in the world, right? And you know what? Most people don't even really want the truth, right? And they don't want to go in to find the truth because there's some conflict sometimes there. Just let's stick to the facts. Let's just stick to the facts. But their facts are not truth. And I heard it the other day. I'm trying to think, but it's like time is one of those things that are, it's a fact, right? So here in this moment in, Alberta, we are 7 a.m. or just after 7 a.m. That's my truth because it's 7 a.m. I'm looking at the clock. That's the fact. But somewhere else, somebody in, say, Ontario is watching this. In this moment, that's not the truth because they're 9 a.m. or just after 9 a.m. So it's like, time is a fact, but it's not everybody's truth, depending on where you're checking in from. So we have to discern, we have to sit back. The truth is actually right here in the heart. Okay, it's what's true for you. And we've all been in that experience when like these are the facts, but it just doesn't feel right, right? We're like, ugh, doesn't feel right. Right? And maybe you've gone along with it because it's the facts and you're a rule follower. Hello, that was me for many, many years. But it just didn't feel right. There was something in my gut and something in my heart, and it just didn't feel right. But I didn't know how to follow that, right? I didn't know how to go within and sit and discern it, right? So now I've learned that. And that's where meditation has come in, and mindfulness has come in because I can observe more. I can observe what I'm feeling in here and come out of my head. I'm more curious. I can go into those places. Well, what if? What if, right? What if it was different? What if I could understand this from, I'm listening to someone and I'm not, trying to put in what the facts are here, or not even necessarily listening to the facts, but just listening to understand maybe where the other person is coming from, or just to understand a little deeper here in the heart, right? And maybe there's another way of seeing things. These are the facts, but is there another way of seeing things, right? Maybe everything isn't as it seems. And so this is where being flexible comes in, right? Letting go of those facts, letting go of attachment to the facts, letting go of being right or needing to be right or needing to control. Because if that's all we need is to be right and to control, we're going to stick to the facts. We're going to be, stuck in that ego's place of judgment. Okay, so this week's intention or this week's awareness, okay, is about noticing. Just notice, just become aware of how often you jump to judgments, right? And then know, okay, that's my ego protecting me. Thank you, ego. I'm not mad at my ego. It's just, we've been taught this. We've been brought up to see the world really inaccurately, right? So the ego comes by it naturally. It's been taught to do that. Thank you, ego, for protecting me. And that's what you can say. Thank you, right? Thank you. But I'm just noticing those times that I jump to judgment. And then the next thing I want you to notice is notice your willingness or even your unwillingness to discern, to let your guard down, to slow down, to go inward, to take the time to drop into your heart, out of your head. That means you got to take a few breaths. It means you got to slow down. It means you got to ground. And then just commune inward in your heart. Because there's a deeper truth, a deeper knowing, no matter what the facts are. Maybe the deeper knowing within supports the facts, but maybe they don't. Right? So you got to take the time to slow down and come in and ground and discern. And if you're there and you're willing to do that, then you can question these judgments, your judgments, question the facts. This is, assumptions come in, right? Don't assume anything, right? Because facts can get really caught up in assumptions. Again, you're looking for the facts to support you being right or needing to control a situation. So let go of the, needing to come to a conclusion or needing something to be fixed or needing, your facts to be or your what you want to be supported by facts. Just let that go and just come in. Hear, heart, observe. What's the truth, the deeper truth? Be flexible. Be willing to see things differently. Be willing to listen, to understand more. Be curious. Be discerning. Make a decision after you've done that because it'll feel different. It'll feel different. Come out of the head of thinking, come into the feeling. Maybe it'll be the same decision you make. Then you're making it from that heart space and not from that ego's need to defend or protect. And this is big when you got a real big life decision because you want to feed the solution, not the problem. Let's tap it in. Okay. Let's tap that in. So let's just move. Let's like bounce. Just like maybe you got a big decision, you got a big problem, you got a big something. You just don't know what to do. There's right? You just bounce, just bring some energy, right? Just elevate your vibration. What are we doing here? We're actually elevating our awareness and our consciousness of our body. Good for the body. Let's just shake out. Just I got a big decision to make, or I just don't know, right? At a crossroads, or just maybe you're just contemplating life. Right? Whatever it is, just march it out. Okay, and then just touch into the other side. That just gets your energy between your right and your left side centered. Okay, so it allows you to come out of your head a little more, come more into your body. Just touch the opposite side. Crossover patterns is what it is. And it just gets the brain and the body more in communication. The right and the left side more in communication. And then just kind of tap into the belly. Okay, even that solar plexus. Solar plexus is where the ego resides. We have an ego. We need an ego. We want an ego. Thank you for protecting me. But let's just kind of tap in and go, where are you at? And then just go behind. A lot of fear is stuck in the back. So let's just get that moving. And then let's just tap down one leg. Just go right down to your feet. Or just tapping in. You got any injuries or soreness or ache, this is going to be good for that. But this is just coming into the body, just tapping in. Okay, now ground the feet, bend the knees, shake out your hands, rub your hands together, create some energy here. Okay, the awareness of the energy in the hands right there, and then tap in underneath the eyes. Take a deep breath in through the nose, out through the mouth. Come out of your head, come into your belly, and then go down to your feet. Ground your energy in this now moment. Come out of the craziness, come out of the head. Be willing to discern and come into your heart, maybe come into your belly. Just breathe. Okay, and then come down to the collarbone point. Legs cross, you do what feels right for you. You discern whether it's this one or this one that feels better. This just gets all your energy moving in the right direction, like meridian lines that support your organs. Really, it just gets your energy moving so you can go, okay, this is our awareness this week, the intention. How often am I so quick to judge myself, others, the world, a situation? Oh, okay. And when I notice that, where is my willingness or my unwillingness to discern? Or do I just want to stick to those facts and those judgments? Just be aware. Just be aware. Nothing wrong, either or, just be aware. And then come into the heart space, the thymus. Breathe into the heart. What if I was to drop in my heart? What if I got out of this whole thinking, judgmental mind and ego's need to be right and defend, and I just dropped in here? You don't have to tell anybody. Right? It's like, oh, I'm letting my guard down. This is where the ego goes, no, 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 we're not letting our guard down. We need to be right. Just let your guard down. How willing are you to go into your heart and just see this differently, or feel it differently, or go into your gut, your belly, your inner knowing, your heart? What does that look like? What does that feel like? The ego gets scared of that. The ego's like, don't let your guard down. No, right? It's like, shh, it's okay, ego. It's okay. Let's just go there. Just see what it feels like. Just practice that. Bring that into your awareness. And then let's go underneath. This just metabolizes everything. And just practice that. Practice noticing how often you jump to judgment, right? How willing or unwilling you are to discern. And if you're willing, then you go into that discernment. You sit a little longer. You sit not to judge. You sit not to analyze. You sit not to fix, but to breathe and to feel and to be curious and to open and to get into that deeper knowing. That's this week's intention. That's this week's intention. Shake it out and then just cross from one shoulder over to the opposite hip and then shake it out. So that's this week's intention. That is this week's awareness. And use it if you got big decisions to make, or just let your mind open to it. Okay? Have a fabulous week, my friends. Namaste.